Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily News. I'm Nicholas Richardson. Celebrations were held across Poland today to mark National Independence Day. This commemorates Poland's regaining of independence in 1918 after 123 years of partition. The dream of freedom came true with the defeat of all three partitioners at the end of the First World War. This is one of the most important dates in the history of Polish statehood. On the 11th of November, we honour the memory of those to whom we owe our own state, thanks to whom it was possible to raise the country from massive destruction and to create the conditions for the development of Poland. The main celebrations, with the participation of Polish President Andrzej Duda, took place at Pilsudski Square in Warsaw. The President also awarded state decorations. But Polish people celebrated all over the country, from the sea to the Tatra Mountains. What did National Independence Day look like? This is the 106th National Independence Day celebrated across the country with the culmination at Pilsudski Square in Warsaw. In addition to the Independence March, there were also official events and speeches. The most memorable one was that of President Andrzej Duda at Pilsudski Square in Warsaw. How did Poles celebrate Independence Day? Today, I'm taking a closer look. In celebration of National Independence Day, a national salute. Towards its independence, the Blue Army of General Haller marched from across the ocean. The Polish army was marching from the east, General Józef Dowbor-Muśnicki's First Corps. They marched towards this free Poland, Pilsudski's legions, which he created, starting with the first cadre. This was followed over the years by an effective diplomatic action that brought its results. President Andrzej Duda stressed the importance of Poland's independence, not only in the context of security, but also the need to strengthen the transatlantic alliance. Today, we have no doubt that it is necessary for the security of Europe and the world to strengthen the Euro-Atlantic ties. Prior to the main celebrations at Marshal Józef Pilsudski Square, President Andrzej Duda presented state decorations. This extraordinary order marks in essence an always free, sovereign and independent Poland. The highest and oldest Polish decoration, the Order of the White Eagle, was awarded to the distinguished academic teacher, philosopher and writer, Professor Ryszard Legutko, and the creator of the World Hearing Center in Kajetani, Professor Henryk Starzyński, in recognition of the distinguished contributions to the development of Polish medicine, who, as the President said, by saving people's hearing, restores to them the meaning and beauty of life. Among those also awarded with state decorations were Witold Waszczykowski, who was honored with the Commander's Cross with a Star of the Order of the Rebirth of Poland, as well as Andrzej Melak, who was honored with the Commander's Cross of the Order of the Rebirth of Poland, and Agnieszka Romaszewska-Guzi, who was awarded with an Officer's Cross of the Order of the Rebirth of Poland. The spirit of independence of the state is still alive, not only in the political sense, but also in the economic and social sense. What's more, I believe in it, and as I observe society as a political scientist, Poland is an exceptional state that successfully maintains the spirit of independence. In addition to official ceremonies, Poles all over the country celebrated the regaining of independence in various ways. The Independence March passed through Białystok. By singing patriotic songs left us by past generations, we show our love for our homeland.
3, 2, 1.
And in Zakopane, this day was celebrated in a sporty way. Yes, we are patriots and we are happy that our country is independent. That's why we decided to help here as volunteers. For these generations of the youngest, independence is something so obvious that independence is a given. And I hope that they will not have to live through times where these tasks of sustaining independence will be before them. And the importance of independence, not only for us, but for a free Europe and the world, must not be forgotten. Long live a free, sovereign, independent Poland. May the Lord God always have our homeland in his protection. Tens of thousands of Poles came to Warsaw for this year's Independence March. Among them, there was no shortage of Gazeta Polska clubs. Many had hundreds of kilometers to travel. They set off very early to arrive in Warsaw on time. Let's move to the Błonia of the National Stadium. This is where the Great March of Patriots ended, and among them were, of course, members of the clubs of Gazeta Polska.
The March of Independence is a celebration by Polish patriots who come to Warsaw every year to celebrate Poland's regaining of independence in 1918. Some were at the march for the first time. Look how many people are here. This is our red and white Poland. I also wanted to see what it looks like because I have never been here. I think it is safe. Others are already regulars. This is the 10th year in a row that I have been coming. God, honor, and homeland are our highest values. As is tradition, the Independence March started from the Roman Dmowski roundabout. But first, the national anthem was sung. Among the thousands of red and white flags, there were American flags, as well as banners of the Gazeta Polska clubs. Club members came to the capital from all over Poland to celebrate Independence Day. Tens of thousands of club members arrived. In some cases, several buses arrived from one city. As soon as I have the opportunity, I will make plans to come. We are finally insisting on a Christian Poland. Touching moments, beautiful moments, prayers for the homeland, really unforgettable moments. The Independence March is probably the biggest patriotic demonstration in the world. Do you love Poland? Yes. There was no lack of gestures of sympathy and support for our station, for which we thank you. During the march, unfortunately, there was no lack of provocations. In return, the police blocked the Gazeta Polska clubs from their meeting place. We were not allowed to meet at the agreed place, and the police turned us away, to put it lightly. Interest in the march is higher than last year. This is partly due to the situation Poland finds itself in. The victory of the Republican candidate in the US presidential election may have an impact on national politics. Changes in the United States could mean serious changes in Poland. Therefore, it is important that the Polish people are able to stand together in the face of emerging threats to our homeland.
Jest potrzebna jedność, jest potrzebny wspólny cel, są potrzebne wspólne działania i jest potrzebne, by ten marsz był wyrazem właśnie tej jedności i tego wszystkiego, czego potrzebujemy, dlatego by Polska trwała.
Some of the march participants did not hide their dissatisfaction with those in power for the current situation in the country. The government is spitting on it. They are destroying everything. They are changing history in schools. They are destroying Polish factories. Well, they are just working against Poland. Contrary to narratives coming from left liberal circles, the Independence March is attended by patriots who love their country. Good morning.
Dzień dobry.
Are you happy to be here? Yes. We'd like to greet our grandparents and mom. Are you happy to be on this march? Yes. We support Poland. The event ended in the parking lot of the National Stadium, where patriotic concerts were planned.
Strong words from JD Vance, the future United States Vice President, about European allies. The Republican said that the alliance with America is always based on fundamental principles, including freedom of speech, and there is no place for countries that do not respect this principle. And the Polish government has a serious problem with the rule of law, as Vance himself has already pointed out many times.
Vice President-elect JD Vance makes it clear the new U.S. administration will demand that its allies respect freedom of speech, especially European countries, including Poland.
American power comes with certain strings attached. One of those is respect free speech, especially in our European allies. Like, look, I'm not going to go to some backwoods country and tell them how to live their lives, but European countries should theoretically share American values, especially about some very basic things like free speech.
Donald Tusk's government, however, has serious problems with the rule of law, including regularly refusing to allow reporters from the station Republika to attend his press conferences. And freedom of speech is a fundamental value for the Republicans in America, who will soon assume full power.
Rola JD Vance'a będzie tutaj wyjątkowa w tym sensie, że
JD Vance's role will be unique in the sense that this is the senator who earlier this year took a very strong interest in how the takeover of public television in Poland played out. His letter to Secretary Blinken got a great response from the secretary himself, but I think now he will have a very different playing field from his position as vice president.
miał zupełnie inne pole manewru.
JD Vance is seriously concerned about the situation in Poland since Donald Tusk's government came to power. This is what he wrote on X, formerly Twitter, in January. Until recently, Poland had a conservative government. Using a lot of diplomatic and economic pressure, the Biden administration and many European nations attacked that government as anti-democracy. That government recently was replaced by a globalist liberal government that is now arresting its political opponents and shutting down public debate. Sound familiar? In the name of protecting democracy, they are using your tax dollars to attack a government that was a great ally of ours. Such behavior by those in power endangers all of Poland.
It's insane that we would support a military alliance if that military alliance isn't going to be pro-free speech.
And in the face of Russian aggression, the alliance with the United States is the only guarantee of security for Poland and the countries in the region.
Jak wydaje się niektórym,
The idea that Europe today is capable of providing for its own security is a pipe dream. For example, the stockpile of ammunition in Europe would be enough for just a few days of fighting on the front lines of Ukraine's defense against Russian aggression. Rafał Trzaskowski's meeting with the Polish-American community was a good example of how divisive the civic platform is towards the Polish people. The current president of Warsaw has ambitions to become head of state. We can't have someone who speaks of other Poles, his political rivals, in terms of finishing them off. And why is there no street in Warsaw named after Lech Kaczyński, the greatest Polish president? 7,600,000 people treated like garbage. Donald Trump seeks good relations with Poland, but it is necessary to restore the rule of law in our country and respect freedom of speech. At the end of the day, the Polish-American community voted overwhelmingly Republican, and in the 3 key states where most Americans of Polish descent live, Trump won decisively. And who voted for Kamala Harris? This is not really known because in most of the states where she voted, voters do not have to identify themselves with any document, and in others it can be done without a photo. What a coincidence, writes Elon Musk on X. Donald Trump has long warned that this is an easy way to tamper with votes.
Now, for everything else, you're allowed to have a card, but for voting, which is our most important act, it's considered virtually a crime, so you're not allowed to ask for identification. Now, there's only one reason that's done. That's because they want to cheat on elections.
Trump won so decisively that no unfavorable decisions could change the verdict of the American people. So the Republican is already getting to work. He is assembling a team of his closest associates and holding important talks, among other things, about peace in Ukraine or the Middle East, but also about strengthening the borders and deporting illegal immigrants, as he promised in his campaign.
Not a cent of government spending should go to subsidize this, not to sanctuary cities, not to federal aid to people who are in this country illegally. And we're going to see a large number, by the millions, of self-deportations as well. And so these are pragmatic places to start that would give us, yes, the largest mass deportation in American history.
Donald Trump has also announced that America will increase oil production after he takes power, which is also an argument for ending the Russian invasion of Ukraine.
At the conclusion of the World Mariachi Congress, a giant concert was held in the Mexican capital to honor and popularize this local music, deeply rooted in Mexican culture around the world.
The Mexican capital became the capital of mariachi for 5 days. Daily concerts and performances brought together thousands of lovers and performers of the joyful and danceable music, which is considered one of the country's symbols. We are proud to be here. We have a world record. This is a great joy. We are very happy. In Zocalo Square in the Mexican capital, hundreds of musicians broke a Guinness World Record from 2013, when 700 mariachi played at a concert in Guadalajara. This time, the popular song Chilito Lindo was performed by more than 1,000 musicians. We were part of history. It was something beautiful, considering all the effort we put into it. Traditional mariachi orchestras include violins, various types of guitars, mandolins, and trumpets. The orchestras have between 3 and 12 members, and their repertoire includes contemporary compositions, as well as Mexican folk music. The first bands were formed in the 19th century in the western state of Jalisco, where they performed at festivals and weddings. Today they play at virtually every occasion worth celebrating.
That's the news. Thank you for watching, and from me, it's have a good night and a better tomorrow.